Well, I hope you all have a glass of wine. This is my first show, and I'm celebrating with Kirsten Helly of Mesa de Vida. We're talking turkey tonight. Stay tuned. Hey, you're watching GFree and Happy tonight. It's my first show. You're watching live at gfreeandhappy.com/live. This happens every Monday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. By the way, I'm your host, Kathy. Like I said, this is the first time that I've done this all by myself too, and I did this whole background, and this is pretty fun. Anyway, so we're getting started with Kirsten Helly of Mesa de Vida. She is somebody I use, and we're talking turkey tonight, all about Thanksgiving. I wanted to start the show during a holiday because that's my favorite time of the year to cook too. So if you're watching the next day on YouTube or iTunes, thank you again for watching. And this is a very exciting night for me. So let's get started. Thanksgiving is a big time of the year for me. I cook like you wouldn't believe. But this time, I'm actually going all GFree. My family doesn't know this yet until just now. Usually I cook like a stuffing, for them, and a stuffing for me. I forgot to bring a bread to show you, but gluten-free breads are real teeny and real thin. So I've had a heck of a time trying to find something to really be substantial for me for stuffings. So I did find a cool stuffing this year, and I wanted to show it. It was at Whole Foods, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's hopefully going to be good. I haven't tried it yet. I should have ripped it open before we started. I wanted to show what the bread looked like. Oh my gosh. Ooh, ripped it. Oh, you can't see it. It's in the cellophane. Let's just pop it open. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. Teeny tiny, but heck, we're all eating this because I got 2 boxes and it's going to be a good time.
So I'm gluten-free this time?
Yeah, you're gluten-free this time. And I think it'll be good. If anybody else has suggestions on what they do for stuffing, I'm going to ask Kirsten that. And then for gravy, I've used in the past this stuff, cornstarch. And I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me, but it lumps and there's big piles of goo. So maybe I'm doing something wrong. So I do have this just in case. I bought a couple of those, or more than a couple. So I want to hear from all of you what your favorite gravy stuffing dish is, but I'm also going to ask Kirsten, so let's get her on. Kirsten?
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so happy, and your site's gorgeous. I can't wait for all of the content you're going to put up on there. It's beautiful.
I debuted GFreeandHappy.com today. I'm very excited. Yay! So thanks for celebrating everybody with me. All right, so first of all, I've used Kirsten as a basically personal chef, but she sends me menus every week. She has a service. It's great. Check out mesadevita.com. And my favorite meal of all time that she's concocted, I guess, and sent to me is this pork roast. I think it has bacon. It's wrapped in bacon or it's slathered with bacon, and then with a maple sauce, and then you put the sweet potatoes, mashed sweet potatoes next to it. It's amazing.
I'm glad you like it. I love that meal too. My family does too.
Oh, sorry. So why don't you tell me a little bit? Oh, thanks. Thanks, Anne-Marie. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Kirsten.
Yes. Well, I am Chef Kirsten. I'm a personal chef and nutrition consultant, and my business is Mesa de Vida, which means table of life, because that's what I'm all about, bringing life to the table. I want to help families get to the table more often. I want to help moms want to nourish their families and provide meals to their family at the table. And so that's what I'm all about. I started off as just a personal chef, and then I started doing some online business, kind of creating some things so I can reach more people and help more people than what is just in my own backyard. So mesadavida.com was born, and it's evolved from there.
You have quite the story, so I want everybody to check it out. This is her website going on in the background. And before we get started, I am going to show, when you're gluten-free, when you start to be gluten-free, you kind of get a little scared what's out there, what you're supposed to cook, what you're supposed to shop for. I want to show, and I'm going to see if I can do this, what Kirsten gives me every week. And it's in the back here. She sends me I'm a member of Mesa Vida Table of Life, I think. What exactly am I, and what's the name of your membership?
Yeah, it's menus by mesadavida.com.
So she sends me this every week, and it is in a PDF. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It has, I see if I can get it out. Yeah, I can. It's got this nice little, day 1, day 2, all the way up to day 5. And it gives you a healthy dessert. This is all gluten-free, by the way. And then the next one is your grocery list. She gives you, and I take my iPhone with me shopping, and so she gives me this list. I don't have to do anything but look at this list at the at the store. It tells me everything I need for that whole week. So I'm just telling you, this is another reason why I have Kirsten on as a guest tonight, because she's great for the gluten-free people like myself that I don't have time sometimes to look and see if everything in this recipe that I'm going to try is gluten-free. She gives me this free thing, or this nice PDF that I just take to the store with me. And then I put it on my iPad as I cook. So it's pretty cool. That. Okay, so tell me, what is your favorite item you're going to make for Thanksgiving this year?
I get out of cooking at all this year. I don't have to cook. My parents have always thrown Thanksgiving, or we go over to my boyfriend's family east of the mountains. So I get out of cooking this year, and actually most years. Other years in the past, I've been hired by families to cook their Thanksgiving meal. So I love to do that. I wish I could get everybody to my house, because I would love nothing more than to create the entire meal. I like to do a classic one. I actually have the Mesa Davida's Healthy Holiday Table, and that has classic recipes, because I think that's what we're after this time of year. We all have our favorites, and so I created healthier versions and also gluten-free versions of all of those recipes.
You do both? And then, so what do you take to your parents' house? I mean,
I don't have to take anything.
Well, that's not fair.
Well, I cook every day of the year.
That's
for a
true.
lot of people, so I guess that's why they tell me to take the year off, or take that day off.
Take that day off. And that's a big day for chefs and cooks and everybody. So that's nice. Yeah. Okay, so I talked about the stuffing that I'm going to make. And my kind of thing I do is I will take a base and what's going on there? I'll take a base of like the stuffing. I'll buy the stuffing. I'll buy the bread, because I don't bake at all. I wish I did, but I don't. Oh. So what do you suggest people, suggest for people that are just starting to be gluten-free, or even people that aren't gluten-free? What is like the favorite part of doing a stuffing?
Oh,
and some kind of tip.
Okay, well, my tip would be to make cornbread. If you are, it's not too hard to make cornbread. And I know baking a bread is difficult. It can be more of a process. But cornbread stuffing is so good, and it adds a sweetness to your food. So there's a lot of great gluten-free cornbread mixes, or you can use just a regular recipe for cornbread and substitute gluten-free flour. It's really, really simple, and it bakes very fast. And then I start with the base, like you said, of all of the really good flavors, the onions, the celery, the garlic. I like to put sausage in mine sometimes, and lots of sage. So you get that all sauteed up with olive oil or butter this time of year. just a little bit, and you get all of that good, delicious flavor coming out of all of those ingredients. Lots of fresh herbs like parsley and thyme, and lots of salt and pepper. You get that amazing flavor. Hopefully you've made your own vegetable or own turkey broth from the neck and the bones from the turkey. Lots of vegetables, and then you can use your cornbread that you've left out to dry. And actually, Whole Foods, I saw they had a gluten-free cornbread already made up too. You can just take it out, cube it up, and let it dry overnight.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. So if you did do the cornbread, because I do have a mix here that I use, the Red Mill one.
Yeah.
It's right there, actually, in the back. But I thought it would be all kind of mealy, and so you actually you cube it and then you dry it.
Yes. Definitely dry it. You can even pop it in the oven for a little bit to toast up, and that'll help it. And I wouldn't use 100% cornbread in that because you do need a little bit more stability. So then I would use the mix that you have, which basically they've just done the work for you. The one you have from Whole Foods there. It looks like it's just cubed bread. I don't see there. Are there any seasonings in there or anything?
No. But I like to add my own. I have a bunch of fresh. Yes, the more fresh, always, the better.
Yeah, I don't trust the mixes of the spices and the herbs in those. They usually have a lot of stabilizers and added chemicals, and so.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
But if you're just taking the little bit of extra work that they've done for you and chopped up the bread and dried it for you, I would go ahead and use that, and that would be perfect. I think that would be just make a delicious stuffing. And
so with the gravy, gluten-free, like I said, the cornstarch. Is there a kind of a flour that you would use that's gluten-free instead of the cornstarch?
Well, you can use brown rice flour. That works pretty good, or arrowroot. But honestly, I use cornstarch. It seems to work really good. What I do is take the really rich and flavorful broth that I've made pretty much all day long as the turkey's cooking and everything's going.
Oh, that sounds yummy.
Sorry?
It sounds really good.
Thanks. And then what I do is saute a little bit of onion and garlic and celery in the pan with some olive oil. Get that where all of the juices are coming out of all of that. And you can even saute the neck of the turkey or some bones there with it too. And then you sprinkle the cornstarch over all of that.
You sprinkle on top of it. Yeah. You don't. I was always told you put it in a cup and then you stir it up.
You can, but you get lumps.
I know.
I always do. You'll probably see on the recipes too when I make them, pretty much anything thickened with cornstarch on menus by Mesa to Vida. I have you sprinkle the cornstarch over the ingredients.
Yes.
Stir it in, and then you add your broth.
Tip of the night.
And then bring it to a boil and it's finished.
Okay. Thank you for that, because that'll help me. I think I'll try that first. And what's the deal with the neck, though? I'm not a big fan of those necks, the turkey necks.
You don't have to eat it. But no. So much. A lot of flavor. And I use it to flavor my broth in the stock. So you don't have to.
All right. But I do want to talk about, in the back right here, I have another beautiful PDF of Kirsten's. Actually, it's an ebook. It's a holiday ebook, and it's on her website now too. And she does such gorgeous PDFs, and her brand is very visual. And I just wanted to share it. Like I said, it's on her website, and it's got the gravy. It's got green bean casserole, sweet potato casserole, cranberry sauce, homemade pumpkin pie. And the Brussels sprouts. I have to say, if I were choosing something this year of my favorite will be the Brussels sprouts. I can't wait to try it. It's so yummy.
Love it.
Bacon roasted.
Yeah.
But she's got a ton of stuff in here. How did you, the ideas you come up with too are amazing. Oh, look she even has a picture of it.
Well, those ones that actually pretty much all of those recipes evolved from cooking for other people as being their personal chef for their holidays, because they don't have time to do it themselves, but they want a homemade meal. So I'd go to their house, and most of my clients were always on a healthier path in life. So I'd go there and create the meal, and It's just I think they're really easy and they're doable. And I have a timeline tip in there as well. So it shows
that.
you exactly how to plan your day out.
And it really is a timing issue too that day. I just want, like I said, this is why I've got Kirsten. I follow her on Facebook. She gives free recipes every day. A lot of them are gluten-free. But also, this just, I mean, look at it. It goes on and on for $3.99 on her website too. I had to have her on this week because she's got so many great tips for all of us.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you too, what is your favorite tradition for Thanksgiving with your family?
Let's see. We always get together usually early in the day, and we eat a lot during the day. My parents usually have traditional foods out. Let's see. My dad makes pepperoni and sausage, so we usually have all of his goodies, and he makes his own pickled herring and pickled shrimp, which might sound gross to all of you, but it's delicious to us. My mom makes lefse, a Norwegian treat, and we just eat earlier during the day, a lot of snacks, and then the house, I just love the smell of the house. The gravy and the stock smells so good. My dad does a smoked turkey every year. He has a huge couple of smokehouses out back of his garage, and so people have him smoke their turkeys, and he always gets a couple for us. And I think a smoked turkey is probably my number one tradition. I don't know what I'll do without it. If it ever comes a point in time, we'll have to learn how to do it ourselves.
Do you want to tell us where you live so we can, or your parents where they live, so we can all check? Oh, smoked turkey. And that sounds kind of like my husband's dad, pickled herring. He never did the shrimp, though. That sounds kind of fun.
So good. That's my favorite.
And he liked to smoke a lot too. My tradition goes from when I was a little kid. It's the marshmallows with the sweet potatoes. I don't know why. I think I might change it up this year, but I have to have it, and not too many of us eat it. I think Jen and I are the only ones that have always eaten it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who like that a lot. I have an alternative in that book, actually, and it gives you that sweetness, and it's pecans and maple. So
I'll do it. I have all that because another thing that you do is you give me kind of a way to pack my pantry and my spices. And I always have that fresh, the real maple now because there's nothing like it.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yes. Thank you, Kirsten, for having such great tips and this menu. Please check out mesadevita.com for all your holiday needs. That menu alone right there in the back is worth picking out. It's actually an ebook. I don't know when you have time to do all this. I wish you a happy Thanksgiving to all of you and your family. We have to talk next time you come here because you're going to be a guest again. We're talking kids cooking because her son cooked the cutest meal tonight too before the show. So I'm amazed at you.
Oh, thanks. He cooks a couple times a week. He's a good little chef.
Keep it up. Well, thank you again,
Kirsten.
Kirsten.
Cheers. Congratulations, Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So my first show, thank you all for tuning in. And next week, I actually have somebody for next week too. And her name is Maggie Grayson, and she has Empower. Let me get that up right now so we can check her out before she is on. And she is empowerfoods.com, and she's got some great things that she's selling. And I'll have some of her products to sample on my show next week. And we'll talk some of the things I want to talk about on the show, or who has products out there that we don't know about. Let's get them out in the open and start talking about them and testing them. I want to get out chefs, authors of books, bloggers. I want to get out for the glow. You're on my list, Jennifer, because healthy is part of my lifestyle too. So anybody healthy, and Kirsten has great healthy recipes too. So until next week with Maggie Grayson, I'll see you then. Oh, and happy Thanksgiving.